How's it going? It's a nice, hot Monday here in Austin, Texas. You know, since I watch Viva Frey on their Sunday night shows, I question the legality of the certain questions that Judge Cannon is asking. Is like, how is a grand jury on a federal level happening in another state? Well, not really a state, the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C., which is the capital of the United States, for an investigation where the plaintiff is going to be in Florida. Is there certain rules where you can't go grand jury shopping? Everything has to be handled within that district? Or is it open to all the districts? Could they went to Hawaii and do the grand jury just to indict them in Florida? I don't know. These are questions that I don't have answers for. I'm not a lawyer. Not a lawyer. But I also have questions. Let's see here. Let's see here. Can I do this? There we go. Excellent. Judge Cannon questions the use of out-of-state grand jury in Mar-a-Lago investigation. See here. Judge Eileen Cannon on Monday asked the Justice Department to explain its use of an out-of-state grand jury in Mar-a-Lago case. The demand came in response to the duo of filings submitted under seal, which Canada directed a clerk to strike from the docket. The Justice Department shall address the legal propriety of use of an out-of-district grand jury proceeding to continue the investigation or seek post-indictment hearing on the matters pertinent to the instant indicated matter of the district, she wrote. While Mar-a-Lago case being handled out of her Fort Pierce, Florida courtroom, much of the grand jury work ahead of the indictment was conducted to Washington, D.C. grand jury. The order comes as special counsel Jack Smith has requested a conference with the former President Trump co-defendant, Walt Nauta, warning that his attorney in this matter, Stanley Woodward, may not be able to provide significant representation. Trump noted that Woodward is representing other witnesses in the case. DOJ is requesting the so-called Garcia hearing with Woodward's client to inform them of potential risk of an inquiry into possible waivers, noting that the court could provide additional independence counsel to Natu to access whether he's being fairly represented by Woodward. Is that all? Man. Usually they're pretty good at having long-winded. But let's see what ground news have to say. Judge Cannon asked about the legality of using D.C. grand jury in Florida-based Mar-a-Lago case. Let's see here. According to the Senator Judge, Eileen Cannon has asked the Justice Department and co-defendant of Walter Newwood to address legality of Special Counsel Jack Smith's ongoing grand jury activity in Washington, D.C. This relates to the obstruction portion of the Mar-a-Lago documents case before her in Florida. Special counsel has stated that both Florida and Washington grand juries are investigating further obstruction activity resulting in new criminal charges against Trump, Natu, and a third defendant. See here, what does the right have to say? See here, federal judge Eileen Cannon denied the department request for a sealed filing that struck two from the record or classified document case against former President Donald Trump. Judge Cannon also requests more information from the prosecutors regarding the use of an out-of-state grand jury to investigate the case. The latest action in the case occurred about 9 months before the scheduled trial and comes in response to special counsel request of a hearing to examine potential conflict of interest with the defense attorney. Interesting. See, what does the left say? Requesting weigh in on legality Now, the lawyers must address the legal priority of use of out of district grand jury proceeding to investigate and seek post indictment hearings on the matters relevant to the case. Special counsel must reply to these concerns. Let's see here. Let's see, what about the right? Let's see here. Low factuality, mixed factuality. I know this is mixed. I get it. I mean, it's Fox News. I really want to hear I read the comments. Let's see here. I mean, it's a little bit more. See, a federal judge overseeing the classified document against former President Donald Trump delivered multiple blows to special counsel Jack Smith in efforts to brief Monday. The judge, Eileen Cannon, in the Southern District of Florida, who's presiding over the case that stems from the Miami grand jury indictment of Trump, denied the Department of Justice request for sealed filings, striking two from the record. Cannon also requested additional information from prosecutors about the continued use of out-of-state grand jury to investigate the case. Special counsel states the conclusionary terms with the supplement should be sealed from public view to comport with the grand jury secrecy by the motion for leave and the supplement plaintiff to fail to satisfy the burden of establishment of sufficient legal or factual basis to warrant sealing the motion of supplement, Cannon wrote in her brief denying the DOJ request. Interesting. Among the other topics raised in the motion, the response shall address the legal propriety of using out-of-district grand jury proceeding to continue to investigate or to seek post-indictment hearing on matter pertinent and instant indirect matter of this district, she continued in brief. Finally, Monday came in response to special counsel to requests for a hearing to examine defense attorney Stanley Woodward's potential conflict of interest. Woodward, who is representing Walter Newton, a Trump aide listed as co-defendant in the case, also represents three individuals who may be called to testify in the case. Cannon gave counsel for Natawa until August 17th to file a response for the motion for the hearing. She gave prosecutors until August 22 to file a brief in support of the hearing. The latest action in the case comes about 9 months before the scheduled trial. Cannon previously set the case to go to trial in May 20th, 2024, amid the Republican presidential primaries. Trump is facing 37 counts, including willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and making false statements. He pleaded not guilty to the charges. Natu was charged with 6 counts that includes conspiracy of obstruction of justice. Also pleaded not guilty a third defendant, Carlos de Alvarera, a property manager of Trump's residence at the Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach, Florida, is accused of by the special counsel of working with Trump to hide security footage. Adherence to the rule of the law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice, and the nation's commitment to the rule of law is set example for the world. Smith said on June 9th, "We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts that determines the outcome of the investigation, nothing more, nothing less. The prosecutors in my office are among the most talented and experienced Department of Justice," continued. "They have investigated this case, hewing to the highest ethical standards, and they will continue to do so as this case proceeds." Let's see, really he makes the statements adherent to the rule of law is bedrock principle of the department. Yeah. We have one set of laws in this country that apply to everyone, applying those laws, collecting facts, blah, 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 blah. An outcome of the investigation. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be applied to Biden and his family and the Clintons and the Obamas and the Bushes, the Pelosi's, the Newsoms, the Browns, the McConnells, the Kennedys. I could go on and list them all if I knew them all. was thinking the same thing when I read that whenever the left or those who are in bed with them accuse someone of doing, they themselves are actually guilty of what they're accusing, like clockwork, with these deplorable human beings. It's called a mea culpa. He must not be involved in the Hunter Biden case or Joe Biden case or the Barack Obama case or the Hillary Clinton case. Right there, the biggest joke yet. Came to post the same after watching the last few years. There's plenty clear to anyone capable of critical thoughts that the law is not applied equally. Sometimes it's all about the lawyers that you hire. The really good ones are the ones that cost the most. Let's say prosecutors in my office are the most talented and experienced at the Department of Justice. Smith continued. Translate, none of these guys were good enough to get a job at the private sector firm. Or maybe they believe in justice and they want to put away people. Ethical standards? What standards? Sounds like a political hit piece. If Trump said that the documents were declassified while he was president, then they're unclassified. It doesn't matter what they pertain to. I've held clearances for 51 years and I understand how the law works. Special counsel should be disbarred and the FBI should be ashamed of their actions and their director fired. Yet it does matter if there isn't proper paperwork to match the claims to be true. Except that your orange friend is on record saying that he didn't. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see here. Any more? See here. What happened to the Biden and all the classified documents that he had as a senator and vice president? He didn't have the authority to have them, but it's swept under the rug. Tool-tier system. The justice of this country is, and the proof is there for the world to see. Yeah, in the garage with his 67 Corvette, I can guarantee you that anyone with a thread of common sense would realize that the Viet was more valuable. Let's see here. Biden was caught driving 55 miles in the 50-mile speed zone. He immediately pulled over and cooperated with the cops. They gave him a warning, which was necessary. Trump was driving. Yeah. Poor analogy. Yeah, that was a poor analogy. Let's see here. Kind of seems like this case, along with others, are hastily thrown together last-ditch efforts to keep Trump from running for president again, and they're falling apart. See, I don't know if you actually read any indictments. Pick one, all three of them, but hey, they would be all slam dunks in courts. See here, if that Jackson Smith, if that was true, then Biden should be imprisoned and executed for treason. And if you don't agree with me, then that's not a single word in your post is true. See here, hastily thrown together. It's been a year since they raided his house, and yet 2 since Fatbag started refusing to give back the documents he stole. It's been in the works for a long time. It's a slam dunk. He's done. See here, Biden been collecting classified documents for 55 years. It has 1,800 boxes in more than 4 different locations, none of which are secured. And when you claim see here, people rejoicing over the grand jury indictments must not have much experience with grand juries. Prosecutors handpick grand juries. One side of the story is told, and then the prosecutor claims a win. In other words, an indictment is a long way from a conviction. Which is true. I mean, prosecutors, I heard, can indict a ham sandwich if they choose. Let's see here, true, but the hard evidence is overwhelming enough to convict Trump in court. The grand jury just determines if there's enough evidence to justify a trial. I mean, the guy responded to subpoena legally by claiming that he had no more documents and legally search found 100 more with classified markings, some which were in his personal desk drawer. The indictment discloses much of the evidence against Trump. Even Bill Barr says Trump is toast. Yep, toast, like I would believe anything Bill Barr would say. See, nothing matters until people are testifying under oath and the conviction is ruled, then appealed, and then ruled upon, so you don't get your pants in a twist. This is a very long road ahead. Larger question here is, you can deny anyone's right to free speech and assembly. This will most likely land before the Supreme Court. The Constitution is understood by at least 6 of the people. Let's see here. Someone needs to find a way to change the prosecutors with, or charges prosecutors with malicious prosecution and make it hurt. The weaponization needs to stop. Even if Trump were guilty of a couple of these indictments, the over prosecution is going to result either heavily or under a conviction. True justice cannot be served this way for either side. If someone steals a candy bar from the grocery store, goes home, police search the house for the candy bar. That person gives up the candy bar back. Is the crime then forgotten? My honest opinion, the crime still exists. Let's see here. Prosecutors. Excuse me. Prosecutors in my office are among the most. Yeah. It's all about that one comment. I was hoping to have a little bit more insight in the comments. Seems like they're just screaming witch hunt, and Mr. Jack Smith is a hack. It's pretty much what everything is in those comments. I mean, it's interesting. There's a lot of legal theories out there. It'll be interesting how this plays out. But people are paying attention. People are taking notice. People are seeing a president that's going after his rivals. They're seeing a governor in Michigan go after her rivals. You're seeing when Trump was president, he didn't go after his rivals, or at least was talked down. He didn't have an attorney general come up with cases against Hillary Clinton and the Bidens, or even Obama. I mean, the evidence is there. I mean, the evidence is there for us to see the type of personalities there are and the actions that each took while they were running the country. And my prediction is if Trump wins, he's going to pick an attorney general like Marlon Garland to go after all these people. There's going to be charges after charges after charges against Hillary Clinton, the Bidens, and probably the Obamas for their role to play into this. Assuming that they can bring charges. I think Hillary has a get out of jail card, but I think that was civil, not criminal. I mean, because she did not necessarily plead guilty, but it was ruled that she violated campaign laws and funded the Steele dossier. But we'll see. We'll see what would happen in about a little over a year from now, a year and a few months, to see who wins. I'm not even convinced that Trump and Biden are going to be the nominees. It's too early to tell since we're in the beginnings of the election cycle. It could be Trump doesn't get the vote, doesn't get the nominee. And it could be that Gavin Newsom gets the Democratic nominee or RFK gets the nominee. With that being said, that is my video for today. I've bantered long enough, and have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.